The New York Knicks are starting to look playoff ready, and they showcased that tonight against the New Orleans Pelicans, getting their 7th straight win. Welcome into Blackout Sports Knicks, where we cover all things Knicks basketball. I am your host, Matthew Wilson, your future favorite sportscaster. Make sure you hit that like button. It lets me know you're here, and it helps out the channel a whole bunch. We appreciate the support. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. It's playoff season. It's about to be a lot more content coming, so make sure you're one of the first ones to get updates on when videos like this drop, as well as sound off in the comments. Type "Let's go Knicks" in the chat. It's a time to be excited. The playoffs are right around the corner with 10 games away from the playoffs. We already know what the goal is. The goal is to win the championship, but we're taking it one day at a time, and we're going to start with the win tonight against the New Orleans Pelicans. The New Orleans Pelicans came in and they played the Knicks tough. The Knicks ended up beating them 121-116, but the Pelicans were a really rowdy team. Now, you can look at where the Pelicans are in the standings and kind of look at the New York Knicks like this is another game where the New York Knicks were playing down to their competition. It's something that the Knicks have kind of been doing for the past 7 games, other than the absolute washout of the Washington Wizards the other night, which was expected. The Washington Wizards are in full tank mode. Half of their starting unit was out. The New York Knicks were definitely going to dominate their game, and they did win it by 32 with an amazing fourth quarter performance by Tyler Kolek. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go back and look at that. But tonight was a great win. Now, you could look at it and say, hey, the Knicks kind of suffered defensively if you look at how many points the New Orleans Pelicans had. But I'll remind you, the New Orleans Pelicans have been playing over 500 in the second half of the season. James Borrega stepping in and as the interim head coach has these boys playing really, really well. And one of the reasons for that is this New Orleans Pelicans team. Remember, if you look at their lineup, they have a really good lineup with Zion Williamson, DeJounte Murray, Trey Murphy, and the bench. The bench got guys like Jeremiah Fears. They got Sadiq Bey, who absolutely cooked the Knicks the last time they played the Pelicans. The Pelicans are a really good team, and it's real easy for them to be slept on, and the New York Knicks made sure they did not do that tonight. So salute to them for a great win. Let's go ahead and look at some stats. 10 points from Josh Hart. Now, no threes tonight. Josh Hart has made 7 straight threes. As he's on a good streak right now. He did attempt a 3 today, but he got fouled. He missed it. So the streak is still alive for Josh Hart, but 8 threes, 3 assists. 8 rebounds, 3 assists, for Josh Hart. 21 points for OG Anunoby, 5 for 13 for 3. OG Anunoby started this game absolutely on fire. I do believe he made like 3 threes in the first quarter. Kind of tailed off after that, kind of got a little bit tired, played 40 minutes tonight. So you can understand why his legs wasn't under him and why he shot 5 for 13. But other than that, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and a block, showcasing offensive and defensive ability. And shout out to Karl-Anthony Towns. We were on Karl-Anthony Towns' case for a good portion of this season, and we heard him say that, he doesn't really know his role in the offense. Is starting to look like Karl-Anthony Towns is starting to find his way. 21 points, 14 rebounds for him, part of the 50 double-double club, one of only 10 players to do that in history in a single season. So shout out to Karl-Anthony Towns, even though he has struggled offensively. Like I said in a video on TikTok, if you're not following him on TikTok, make sure you go give me a follow. I cover Knicks basketball all day, every day on TikTok. Shout out to my followers over there at Matthew Malik Wilson. But Karl-Anthony Towns, while he hasn't necessarily been this offensive juggernaut that we used to, after the Come to Jesus meeting the New York Knicks had, you can tell that he's starting to prioritize different things in order to help this New York Knicks team win, and rebounds has been one of them. And he got 14 rebounds from Karl-Anthony Towns tonight. So salute to Cat. We're starting to see the playoff version of Karl-Anthony Towns, where Shaquille O'Neal told Karl-Anthony Towns, hey, it needs to be a 1-2 punch in between you and Jalen Brunson in order for the New York Knicks to capture that elusive championship since 1973. And it seems like Karl-Anthony Towns has taken that to heart, and he's playing that way. So salute to the Bodega Cat. Mikal Bridges, 14 points tonight. A lot of talk about Mikal Bridges today, especially on ESPN from Stephen A. Smith. After we cover this, we're going to get into that. I'm going to give you my opinion. I think Stephen A. Smith kind of crossed the line today, if you want me to be honest with you. Respect to him, but I think he went a little bit too far. But 14 points for Mikal Bridges, 5 for 12 from the floor, made 4 threes tonight. 4 out of 10 from three-point line, shot 40% from the three, 2 rebounds, 7 assists from Mikal Bridges. So we got an aggressive Mikal Bridges tonight, along with a block on the defensive end. So hopefully this is the Mikal Bridges, especially after the talks that we heard today, that we're going to be getting going into the playoffs. 32 points for Jalen Brunson today. He's kind of struggled a little bit in the third quarter, couldn't get his shot falling, especially to start the fourth. But after that, Jalen Brunson took off. I think he had about 14 points in the fourth quarter, and he's actually the offensive person that put away the Pelicans because nobody could buy a shot in the fourth quarter. Jalen Brunson was the one to assert his dominance, having 32 points and 7 assists, being that offensive firepower and a playmaker for the New York Knicks. And a guy that I kind of want to shout out, we're going to talk about Mitchell Robinson in a second. 11 points for him. We're starting to see Mitchell Robinson get more involved in his offense. Guys like Jose Alvarado, Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench are making sure that when they're in there, Mitchell Robinson is starting to get some touches early. And I think that's starting to attribute to why we're starting to see these offensive games from Mitchell Robinson. 11 points, 8 rebounds for him. He should have had a double-double when Mike Brown pulled him at the end of the fourth quarter, actually elected to play small ball. Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson were out after like the 4-minute mark. OG Anunoby was actually playing the center, which they kind of needed to do because the Pelicans were up and down on the floor. They were playing small ball. Mike Brown did a good job to counteract that by putting OG Anunoby in the game. But 11 points, 8 rebounds for the Mitchell Robinson, 1 steal, 2 blocks from him. A lot of hustle plays from Mitchell Robinson, too. We're starting to see a fully healthy Mitchell Robinson who's starting to get his rhythm. So beware to anybody in the playoffs that has to play the New York Knicks. Everybody's scared of Mitchell Robinson. They say he's the X factor, and we're starting to see that. But the guy I want to shout out, Jordan Clarkson, man. Jordan Clarkson got pushed out of the rotation. Earlier in the season, people were kind of wondering what's going on with Jordan Clarkson, why he's not in the rotation. There was a lot of times Jordan Clarkson was in a game, he kind of looked a little lost offensively and defensively, which I believe kind of led to a little bit of mistrust from Mike Brown. After the All-Star break, the last time the New York Knicks played the Utah Jazz, and Jordan Clarkson's homecoming, Jordan Clarkson had like a 20-point game. He was going absolutely crazy. And ever since then, we're starting to see more trust from Mike Brown. Jordan Clarkson was actually in the game in the final lineup to close the game out. I think this is kind of like the second game in a row that we're seeing that. So salute to Jordan Clarkson, who's been a consummate professional. We knew that Jordan Clarkson was frustrated with his role. Kind of saw him talking to other players. I don't know if it was Chicago or somewhere he was talking to some players. They told him, hey, whatever you do, man, just keep your head up, get your money because they are paying you, even though they're not playing you. But make sure you get your money, stay ready. Jordan Clarkson has done that. An amazing first quarter from Jordan Clarkson today, man, keeping the Knicks in the game. The Knicks led by 14 to close out the first quarter. A lot of that was due to Jordan Clarkson. He had like 3-4 assists in the first quarter, making sure Mitchell Robinson was getting his touches, very aggressive on the defensive end. That's the thing that I've been most impressed about when it comes to Jordan Clarkson is not only do we know that Jordan Clarkson can get a bucket anytime he wants, but the knock on Jordan Clarkson was that he kind of lacks defensively. We're starting to see a locked-in defensive version of Jordan Clarkson these past few games, and I think that's leading to Mike Brown giving him more trust. Now, Miles McBride is injured. He's due to come back soon. I'm hearing that he's practicing. He's looking really good, so we're expecting Miles McBride to be back by the playoffs, and Landry Shamet has been out for a couple of games with knee soreness, so it's opened up the door for Jordan Clarkson to play more minutes, and he's certainly capitalizing on that, so salute to Jordan Clarkson. A guy that I do kind of have a little bit of an issue with right now is Jose Alvarado. Now, his offense has been terrible these past few games. As you see, Jose Alvarado didn't even attempt a shot today, and he only played 9 minutes. Mike Brown pulled him, and you guys can kind of see why Mike Brown pulled Jose Alvarado. Like, there's moments where Jose Alvarado is in the game, he's not aggressive offensively. There was times the Knicks were on fast breaks tonight, and Jordan Clarkson looked like he was about to be aggressive and then pulled the ball back and is waiting too long to kind of set up the offense. There was a lot of times he tried to get the ball to Karl Anthony Towns or somebody else, and it was too late and leading to a turnover for the New York Knicks and a fast break for the New Orleans Pelicans that kind of allowed the New Orleans Pelicans to stay in the game. Do expect Jose Alvarado to play better as time goes on. I think he's kind of in a little bit of a shooting slump. It's a little bit surprising that we saw Jose Alvarado have the game that he had today, especially because the New Orleans Pelicans were a team that traded him. There was even a moment where Jose Alvarado went up for a shot and it got blocked, and Derek Queen is screaming in his face. I expected, it was in the first half, I kind of expected Jordan Clarkson to see that and lash back out and show us something, but Mike Brown kind of sat him on the bench. He saw the type of night that Jose Alvarado was having. It wasn't a good one. So we're going to need a little bit more from Jose Alvarado, especially come playoff time. He's great defensively. He's a little bit small, so sometimes Jose Alvarado does get cooked. A little bit small, but a feisty defender. But we need something offensively from Jose Alvarado, or Jose Alvarado could see his minutes dipping because Tyler Kolek just had 53 points in a day the other day, and he's a really good facilitator, and he's a guy that's been with the Knicks for a couple of seasons that I do think deserves a little bit more minutes than the minutes that he's getting. So Jose Alvarado better get his stuff together pretty soon, or he could find his way where Jordan Clarkson was, on the bench, and that's not what we brought Jose Alvarado here to do. I expect him to be better, but overall, a great win for the New York Knicks today. Like I said, they seem like they playoff ready. They've been playing down to their competition over the past couple of weeks, except for the dominating blowout of the Washington Wizards. And like I said, the Pelicans were no slouch. They came in here. They were scrappy defensively. They ran up and down on the New York Knicks. Zion Williamson looked very good tonight. Actually, let's look at their stats real quick, because they put up a really good fight against the New York Knicks, man. And they might be a little bit of a problem going into next season as long as their roster is intact. 18 points from Saddiq Bey today. Kind of expected that. Saddiq Bey cooked the New York Knicks for like 28 the last time we faced him. Great shooting from the floor, 4-6 from the three-point line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 22 from Zion Williamson. Herb Jones was, I can't even explain what Herb Jones was. He was all over the place today. Great in the first half, kind of fell off in the second half, kind of let the physicality get to him. Trey Murphy, 16 points. Not a great shooting night from him today, though. DeJounte Murray, 12 assists today. Now, he wasn't great offensively, but he was really good at breaking down the defense and getting other players involved, especially in that first half. The Knicks and the Pelicans were cooking the entire first half offensively. I do believe they had like 62 to 68 in the first half. It seemed like it was going to be a high-powered offensive game in between both teams. Guy I want to focus on, though, guy that they got as a gem is Jeremiah Fears. Very, very fast. Jeremiah Fears is lightning quick on the floor. 21 points for him tonight in his Madison Square Garden debut. But like I said, the Pelicans were not a team to be slept on today, and the New York Knicks did a great job at making sure they didn't sleep on them. So you guys sound off in the comments if you liked the game or if you watched the game. Let me know how you felt about the game and if you feel like the New York Knicks are playoff ready, because it's starting to certainly look like it. And let's get into the next topic, because today on First Take, actually, you know what? I'm going to just play it for you. Just play you the clip. Now, it's from ESPN. I could get flagged for it. Let's be real for you. Like, ESPN does not play about their copyrights whatsoever. But I think it's best that I just play it for you and then react, because Stephen A. Smith had some strong comments after Josh Hart came to the defense of Mikal Bridges. Now, Mikal Bridges has been somebody that I've been a little bit critical of lately. I haven't been overly critical. I understand how many draft picks the New York Knicks gave up for him. 7 total draft picks, 4 unprotected or 5 unprotected first-round picks for him. We kind of expected Mikal Bridges to be the Brooklyn Nets version of Mikal Bridges, where he's giving you 18 to 20 points a game, really aggressive defensively. The defense is still there. It seems like it's kind of slipped in my opinion, these past couple of years, but I think it's due to the wear and tear on his body. Mikal Bridges has played like 629 straight games. It's his record. I understand why he loves it so much. I thought that it would kind of be best for Mike Brown to kind of sit him down and kind of give him some rest, kind of tell like his legs aren't under his shot. He's not looking very aggressive offensively. So I thought it was best for maybe him to sacrifice the streak and Mike Brown to kind of sit him down. But that's kind of only been my only criticism of Mikal Bridges. It's not like an overly angry thing or overly critical thing. I totally understand that Mikal Bridges isn't going to be the Brooklyn Nets version that we expected or whoever we gave the draft picks for. I knew we weren't getting that version of Mikal Bridges. I knew we were getting more of the version of the Phoenix Suns Mikal Bridges, where he gives you great defense, a spot-up three-point shooter. He doesn't have the freedom that he had with the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets were a terrible team while Mikal Bridges was there. Go back and look at their record. And that's the reason why we had the offense that we saw from him. That's not the version that we're getting. Now, we expect it to be a little bit better than what we've been getting, especially in the second half of the season, because Mikal Bridges is only averaging like 10.8 points per game. Since the All-Star break, he's only shooting 32% from the three-point line. So that's not the version of Mikal Bridges that we want. And I just figured he was fatigued. According to Stephen A. Smith, he's on another level with it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play you the clip, and then we're going to react to it. So without further ado, here's Stephen A. Smith, and we'll get into what Josh Hart said about Mikal Bridges as well. He tried to come to his defense. Stephen A. Smith ain't like that. So let's go ahead and listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say on First Take about the defense of Josh Hart from Mikal Bridges. Let's go ahead, roll the clip, man.
He gets some of that unfair flack just because he's doing what's asked of him. And if we were to sit there and say, go shoot 15 shots a game, he would be efficient and he could do it. But that's not what's been asked of him. End quote. Monica Monica
Good morning.
Just that was here on First Take. I need more coffee. But Stephen A., I know you have been critical of Mikal Bridges in the past, rightfully so. What do you make of Josh Hart coming to his defense?
I need Josh Hart to be quiet. Sit down. Only time I want you standing up and talking is if you playing. Not when it comes to Mikal Bridges. You need to stand down. This is grown-ups. This is business. So let's keep it a buck here. I will preface my comments by saying little birdie, who I appreciate so much, enlightened me about something that I pretty much knew, but I appreciated her guiding me on this by reminding me that Jalen Brunson didn't have anything to do with Mikal Bridges coming to New York. He certainly wouldn't have wanted Dante DiVincenzo to be gone. And I appreciate that. But I wasn't implying that Jalen Brunson was sitting back and working in concert with Leon Rose to manipulate proceedings so his boy could come to New York City. That started with him at Villanova and helped him win a couple of national championships. What I was saying was that you are the face of the franchise. You are big time. And when you make a decision financially to sign a contract a year earlier that's going to save the organization $113 million for them to go out and get additional help for you, and that additional help is your former college teammate and one of your best friends in the world. Well, respectfully, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it ain't a damn mongoose. We know what it is. You don't have to say it. You don't have to speak it. You don't have to be involved. The organization knew what you would want. Now, it's not his fault that Leon Rose ended up giving the farm for Mikal Bridges. 4 first-round unprotected picks, an additional first-round pick that wasn't that wasn't unprotected, an additional first-round pick after that involved a swap and a second-round pick. My God, that's 7 picks. 7. But dude, they think he even give you 10 points a game? That's unacceptable. I know that Mikal Bridges is better than this. I know that he's just going through a slump right now. But the point is, even if he wasn't, what he was doing, yes, what you did against Boston last year was good. That's what they brought you there for. But they brought you there for more than that with the assets they gave up. Because the chances are, if the New York Knicks don't position themselves to win a title, If they can't even come out of the East because Detroit, Boston, Cleveland this year, Indiana next year when Halliburton come back who took them out the last 2 years, or somebody else prevents the New York Knicks from getting back to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999, we're going to have a problem with that deal. Mikal Bridges, the form, 7 picks. Do you have any idea what the New York Knicks could have done? Giannis Antetokounmpo would probably be in a New York Knicks uniform if they had half those assets. All I'm saying is, knowing those facts, Josh Hart, respectfully, you got to stand down. There's no way to talk your way out of that. Hard on Mikal Bridges. You really want that quote to live with you, Mikal Bridges? You really want that quote to live with you, Josh Hart, in the Mecca, in New York City, in this market? You really, really think that's going to fly? It will not. It will not. No way. So, Josh Hart, welcome to New York, baby. It's the big time. You the Energizer Bunny. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody love you because they didn't give up 7 picks for you. Had they done it for you, your ass would be in trouble too. Deal with it. Get over it, and let's ball and get out of the Eastern Conference and get to the finals. Period.
All right, that's Stephen A. Smith on Josh Hart's take about why Mikal Bridges is struggling. I got a few issues with what Stephen A. Smith said, and I'm going to address them. But first off, let's kind of break this down about the Mikal Bridges deal, okay? Like, everybody kind of mentions, we gave up 4 picks, we gave up 5, 7 picks for him. Does everybody realize how good the New York Knicks have been over the past 3-4 seasons? You're giving away late round, first round picks. Those picks are like going to be 27th, 28th. And those picks at the end of that first round, those are lottery picks, like crapshoots. You don't know what that player is going to be. And do I need to remind people about who the Knicks have chosen early in the first round? Does anybody forget about the Frank Ntilikina days, the Kevin Knox days? Anybody forgot? I haven't forgotten those days, guys. Like, it's not like I looked at those picks now when they gave up 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. I was like, well, damn. But you have to understand who we're trading with. Like, the New York Knicks haven't done business with the Nets in years, and the Nets don't like doing business with the New York Knicks. Does anybody remember when the New York Knicks when the Brooklyn Nets came from the New Jersey Nets, because they used to be in Jersey, and they came to Brooklyn, and they wanted to basically take over New York. That's why they went and got KD and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. They were supposed to be the new New York team. Everybody was supposed to root for them. It didn't happen. Didn't work. But the New York Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets have never liked doing business together. Sean Marks, that be on ESPN all the time, talks about it. Don't like doing business with the Knicks. Anytime they want any player from us, we're going to tax them. And that's exactly what happened with the Mikal Bridges deal. Now, I see his point, all right? Like, it's not like Stephen A. is totally off base, and that's not my issue with him. I'll get into that in a second, I promise. But to his point, 4 first-round picks, a pick swap in the first round, and a couple of second-rounders, 7 draft picks for Mikal Bridges is a lot. And the way Mikal Bridges has been playing over the second half of the season, while we were on Karl-Anthony Towns' case for most of the season, why he couldn't get involved and why he looked so stagnant offensively and defensively, the focus has definitely shifted to Mikal Bridges for how he's been playing, which is why it was the first time that I've actually had to say something like, hey, like, what does Mikal Bridges want to do? What's more important to you? Because you got to be tired. Like, this isn't the Mikal Bridges that we know who's shooting 32% from the floor and could barely get 10 points a game. You got to be tired, bro. So Mike Brown, sit him down for a game. It's the end of the season. They need rest. Mikal Bridges is his Iron Man, and we get how important the streak is to him. Well, like, we understand that. But, bro, what's more important? Is it more important for you to be immortalized in New York if you're Mikal Bridges for capturing a championship for the first time since 1973? Is that more important, or is your streak more important? So I felt like that was something that Mikal Bridges had to choose. But Mikal Bridges looked pretty good tonight, and that's what we expect him. 14 points, 4 threes, 7 assists. I don't expect him to do that every night, but this is the Mikal Bridges that we kind of expect. Like, the Knicks have kind of been winning by committee anyway for the second half of the season. Now, of course, Jalen Brunson's going to get his numbers. We've seen a more aggressive Karl-Anthony Towns offensively and defensively. Josh Hart has been playing very good offense. OG Anunoby looks like the third best scorer on this team. And we expect the Mikal Bridges to be that. But OG Anunoby has grown into that role of being the third best scorer. So, if anything, that kind of gives Mikal Bridges a little bit of a break to not have to be the offensive person that we thought he was going to be. But I understand Stephen A's point when it comes to the picks. I'll talk about the Giannis thing. They could have did that for Giannis. Whatever. Giannis said he wants to be a Knick, and then he wants to stay in Milwaukee. It's weird with the Giannis thing anyway. I don't know if Giannis would have been a New York Knick this season. And even if he did, do you want Giannis to come here with his Achilles injury? He's stuck on this bringing another superstar here. And the New York Knicks have been almost getting to the NBA Finals without having that perennial all-star top 5 player to pair with Jalen Brunson. The New York Knicks have already shown us that they're able to do that. So I'm not sure why he's still stuck on that. But here's my issue with what Stephen A. Smith said. It's the disrespect in the beginning. Telling Josh Hart he needs to be quiet and go sit down somewhere. As a journalist, it's weird to me. Like, it's weird when journalists disrespect players and tell them you need to go sit down somewhere and be quiet. First of all, when we look at the quote from Josh Hart, he started by saying that Mikal Bridges didn't have a lot of plays called from him last year, and he's having even less plays being called for him this year, which would explain his offensive struggles of why it seems like Mikal Bridges can't be in the rhythm. And as a journalist, it's weird to tell Josh Hart to shut up when Josh Hart has probably been the most open Knick about what's going on when it comes to what's going on in that locker room, the mentality, when they struggle, why they're struggling. He's been the first one to take accountability along with Jalen Brunson. He's been a perfect guy for the media to talk to try to figure out exactly what's going on in that Knicks locker room. And you tell him to shut up? It's just weird to me because as journalists, that's what we need. Like, I pride myself on being somebody who tries to give as accurate information as I can. I try to be as unbiased as I can. I bleed orange and blue. You see the Knicks everywhere. I bleed orange and blue, no matter if we win or lose. But I try to give everybody an unbiased opinion on everything that's happening with the New York Knicks, because the New York Knicks have been used as clickbait for the past 20-something years. Does everybody remember when the Knicks sucked? Does everybody remember what it's like being a Knicks fan when we were absolutely trash? We were the joke of the NBA. I remember those days. So that's why I try to be as unbiased as possible, and I try to give people accurate reporting. So when it comes to a player like Josh Hart, we need that as our lifeline to give accurate reporting. Josh Hart isn't making an excuse for Mikal Bridges. He did say that Mikal Bridges needs to play better and that them as teammates, they need to do a better job at setting up Mikal Bridges to be put in a better position to perform better. He didn't make any excuses for Mikal Bridges. He didn't. So for Stephen A to say that, especially as a journalist, knowing what I just said, knowing that we need players to give us insight of what's going on in that locker room. Now, Stephen A is well connected. He's going to get that information whether Josh Hart says it or he doesn't. So maybe he doesn't care about that, and that's why he said what he said. But as a person that's not in that position, who does watch every Knick game, I don't miss one. I think this season I'll probably miss 4 or 5 total. Out of an 82-game season, I've missed 4 or 5 of them. And I'm locked in going forward. So I know the ins and outs of why this team struggles, why they win, why they don't. I've seen it all. Stephen A isn't one of those people. A lot of the time, Stephen A's takes on the Knicks are really off. And it's starting to make me question if Stephen A. Smith is even a Knicks fan at all. Like, anytime the Knicks struggle, he's done with them. When the Knicks are doing good and they're on a winning streak, he may mention it after like the 7th or 8th straight win. They mention it then. But even though they're the New York Knicks, they're still not the headline on the First Take. They have other stuff to talk about, the Lakers, the NFL. We get that. You know what I'm saying? We get that. The most time when the Knicks are getting clicks for most people is when it's negativity. It's like that with me. If I go off on a player and I go off on a tangent, those are my most viewed videos. It's just what the Knicks are. But him as a Knicks fan, I kind of expected him to talk about the Knicks a little bit more, especially because now they're eclipsing a 50-win season. They might be in second place. I haven't even checked the standings yet. They might be in second place, and Boston seems like they're back to their championship selves. So, and Cade Cunningham is hurt. We don't know what the Pistons are going to look like for the rest of the season. Can the Knicks have an opportunity to be the number 1 seed going into the playoffs? And this is the type of energy we see from Stephen A. Smith. It's just weird to me. And he calls himself a Knicks fan. It's always been weird to me. I never got it. And the reason why I'm so upset is because I have immense respect for Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is the reason why I'm in front of this camera today. Just going to keep it real. I have a lot of love and admiration and respect for Stephen A. And even though his Knicks takes are terrible, even though I'm pissed off that he said this today, especially about a player who's been openly honest with the media, and that's the perfect guy you want to talk. I can't emphasize this enough. Players give us generic answers all the time. And, we're looking forward to the next game. Got to do better. And that's all they'll give you. They got an amazing PR department that keeps them straight, doesn't give the media too much. Josh Hart has always been open. That's the player that we love to talk to as journalists. That's what we need to know exactly what's going on when we can't figure out why Mikal Bridges is struggling. He told you. So instead of Stephen A. looking at the situation and being like, okay, I understand we gave up 7 draft picks for Mikal Bridges. Well, if he's not having enough plays being called for him, maybe the person we actually need to look at is Mike Brown. Instead, he tells Josh Hart to shut up. It's just weird to me. It's just weird. Stephen A. has to be the absolute worst Knicks fan that we have. And I know he's really a Knicks fan. Like, I say that he's not really a Knicks fan because I don't believe he watches the games. I'm going to be real with you. I don't believe he watches the games. Like, he's incredibly busy. He got First Take. He got his own show on YouTube. Salute to him. Like, for real, the success of Stephen A., it should be applauded. It really should. People try to poo-poo it, but the success of Stephen A. really needs to be studied, and he really needs to be applauded for the things that he's been able to accomplish as a black man in this industry. That's why I have so much immense respect and love for Stephen A. and constantly defend him. But he's busy. First Take, Stephen A. Smith show. Apparently he wants to run for president. He's doing politics now. He doesn't have time to watch Knicks games like that. So I understand why his takes are bad, but damn, bro, the disrespect Josh Hart was just crazy to me today. You guys sound off in the comments. You let me know how you felt about Stephen A. telling Josh Hart to sit down and shut up. Because while I get it, if the New York Knicks do not win the championship, one thing he is right about, though, we're going to find somebody to blame. Like, we are. It's one thing I will give him credit for. But telling Josh Hart to shut up, that was just out of bounds for me. The rest of his take, all right, I can kind of see it. I can kind of understand it. Because if the Knicks, like James Dolan has said it himself, if the New York Knicks do not win the championship this year, it is going to be a failure. And I'm telling you this now. If the New York Knicks fail to even get to the NBA Finals, Mike Brown is in trouble because he refused to play Jordan Clarkson for a while. Jordan Clarkson looks a lot better now that he's getting minutes. I'll direct you to the beginning of the season where Landry Shamet was like the 15th man on a roster, which was crazy to me. I never understood that, why Landry Shamet had to fight for his job. But the only reason why Landry Shamet made the team, if everybody can remember, is because Malcolm Brogdon retired a week before the season. So they were like, hey, yeah, okay, I guess, we'll bring along Shamet. Another thing about Mike Brown, Guardshawn Yabusele. Now, he hasn't looked the same since he got traded. So, there's calmed down a little bit of pressure on them. But it was even reported from Ian Begley that Guardshawn Yabusele played very well against the New York Knicks when we played Chicago after we traded him for Jalen Terry and then flip Jalen Terry or Dalen Terry for Jose Alvarado. Guardshawn Yabusele was playing very well for the Chicago Bulls, hitting threes, giving them rebounds, and people were starting to wonder, well, damn, why couldn't he do this with the New York Knicks? And people were starting to look at Mike Brown. We got the Karl-Anthony Towns struggles. Karl-Anthony Towns talk about he doesn't know what his role is in the offense. Okay, well, what's going on, Mike Brown? So Mike Brown is actually the guy that Stephen A. Smith needs to look at if things go bad. But like I said, he is right. If the New York Knicks flame out in this playoffs for whatever reason, the New York Knicks fans and the New York media, they cutthroat. They're going to find somebody to blame. I think Mikal Bridges is low-hanging fruit. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, because if the New York Knicks want to get Giannis, trust me, they'll find a way to get Giannis. Leon Rose has been excellent, absolutely excellent at rebuilding his team, bringing in the pieces that they need. Didn't necessarily agree with letting go of Tom Thibodeau, but we see now how better this offense looks under Mike Brown other than Tom Thibodeau. Mike Brown is willing to play his bench. No player is averaging over 36, 37 minutes. That was way different under the Tom Thibodeau era. So this team should be well rested going into the playoffs. Fatigue has been the only thing to hold the New York Knicks back these past few seasons in the playoffs. I hope people realize that. It's been fatigue. They shouldn't have that issue going into the playoffs. So if the New York Knicks don't reach the NBA Finals, especially after firing Tom Thibodeau, who got them to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since, 1999? Oh, there's going to be hell to pay. So he's right there. But telling Josh Hart, sit down somewhere, be quiet. This ain't the conversation for you. Stop defending Mikal Bridges when he's actually trying to give insight was a little bit crazy to me. But you guys sound off in the comments and let me know what you guys think about it. I thought it was a little bit too far, but Stephen A. gonna do what Stephen A. do, and I salute him. Still respect, still admiration. You're the reason why I do this. Telling the player to shut up is a little bit too far to me. But that's about to be it for me today, because we got the Charlotte Hornets on Thursday. I'm actually going to be in the building. I can't wait for this. I'm taking my son to see the Knicks play Charlotte. It's the first time I'm getting to see Jalen Brunson play live. I can't wait. I cannot wait to see the cat go absolutely crazy in Charlotte. Now, Charlotte's no slouch at all. They've been playing really good basketball. They just blew out the Kings by like 40 tonight. If it tells you how good the Charlotte Hornets actually are, a sneaky, sneaky good team. The New York Knicks cannot sleep on the Charlotte Hornets at all, especially because it's an away game. It's not too far away from home. It's only North Carolina. But I will be in the building. I will try to have some live reporting. I'm going to try to see if I could talk to a couple fans and all that. But overall, for me, it's a great time. It's going to be a great time with me and my kid. My son is a Charlotte Hornets fan. Last time we went to a game, Kemba Walker was there. It's been a minute. But the Charlotte Hornets beat the New York Knicks that night. And I've been hearing it ever since. So nothing would make me happier than Jalen Brunson going off for 40 points and cooking the Charlotte Hornets so I can have a quiet ride home. That's all I want. I'm not going to say nothing to him. Not going to talk shit. Just a quiet ride home. So he knows that he should have been a Knicks fan like I told him. Like I told him. Hey, you was born into this. I don't care that you were born in North Carolina. Doesn't make the Charlotte Hornets your team. You're supposed to be a Knicks fan. So, hopefully, on Thursday, he pays the price for not accepting his lineage the way he was supposed to. Shout out to my kid Chance, man. But that's it for me, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you watched the whole video, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with me. And I appreciate that, man. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more content. But most of all, sound off in them comments, man. Let me hear Let's Go Knicks. It's almost playoff time. It's time to get excited. It's your future favorite sportscaster. You dig? I'm out.